Article, Stress versus Dan and Pyrettic. Dan and Pyrettic narrowly making their way into this game, and here we go against Article. Article, the new blood here, going to kick it off, pushing up on Pink. Of course, Camo being the big thing to look out for. You've got top mid as well. Looks like Stress might be opting to take that top mid position. A double team onto Camo. Article getting the best of Pyrettic, and Dan's going to drop as well. There you go. 2 for 1 to start the game, and the Camo's been burned. Kind of an ideal start for the red team.
No, one thing I do want to point out right there, Alex, I like the discipline that we saw from Pyrettic right there. He was on top of that Camo, but he knew that he had the player to his left shooting him, so he opted to wait to see what happened, where the cards fell. He knew that he was going to fall, let his teammate pick up that Camo. Unfortunately, he did eventually get cut down because of the great individual play we saw from the player across from him. But I like that discipline that they've had so far in the beginning. Article and crew coming out on a strong start. Stress sitting down here in the bottom, trying to pick up this one-shot player. If he can get this player and then get back to that top mid control, start getting them off these spawns, trap them in the base, they'd be in a good spot. But Pyrettic going to cut him down short of a grenade of his own.
Right, and of course, Stress is down. Right now, I'm looking at Danoxide. Danoxide making his way on Pink to P2. Yes. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm trying to figure out how this works. I guess I control Danoxide right now. We should have talked about this earlier, but I'm also controlling Observer, and so is Garrett. And oh, okay. All right, because I'm also using the all right. So Danoxide right now I'm seeing on top red here, pushing up on Pink's rear. We've got Article on P2 backing him down. Stress also with him on Pink. Got a perfect 2v2 type scenario here. We'll see how this plays out as Alex pushes up to P3. Danoxide going to try to work with Pyrettic here. A battle on P3 as well. Looks like he can't chip in and get an angle. Alex is going to get left out in the open, but it looks like he'll live for now. So both players trying to do a really good job baiting their life and staying alive. Pyrettic in a tough position, and watch how Danoxide reacts to this situation. He's got to make a low presence play and try to stay alive. He's in a rough spot here. Good shots, perfect shots onto Stress to take him down, and he's alive on P3. I love this play from Dan.
Right, and I like what we're seeing from these two teams. They opt to take different angles at all times. We'll never see them really bunch up on top of each other, push the same exact angle. They're always going to try to create a pinch when it's necessary. Danoxide, like you said, that low presence play, super important. He was able to get the perfect 5-shot on Stress, cutting him down on the P side. Unfortunately, the Camo does get away from him, and great job by Article to stay alive with this camouflage. Oh!
So close.
It would have been so perfect to see. But I like the play from Article, right? He realized the Camo was coming up. He had the opportunity to grab it, did just that, stayed alive with it. And I think this is what's going to really determine who's going to take this game. Number one is who gets that Camo and is able to make more than a 20-second play with it. If someone can get that Camo, get away, start moving across the map freely, I think they'll start to take a lead and start to really get the momentum to go in their side. But great job by Stress and Article right there, playing together, managed to get the double kill. And with that, the top control, potentially trapping these guys in the opposite base. And then from there, we'll start to see some collapses. This is what you want to see in your 2v2 gameplay.
Right, that's exactly what we're seeing, is this teamwork to start the game here. I feel like Article and Stress really have that upper hand at the moment, though. Article right now recognizes he's ISO. Stress has gone down. Article trying to keep his presence low here. They're predicting that he might be in Pink. Dan's going to catch him. He's got one behind him as well. He will go down in that pinch, and Stress, the last remaining player, will get that trade. So good on Stress to actually come in there and manage to grab that kill at the same time. Of course, Stress goes down. Pyrettic now on screen, jumping up to top mid here and try to keep his, keep a good presence here. It looks like they've split spawn between blue and red. Get a nice pinch onto red there. Stress now pushing out front. Blue, Stress staying out in the open for a little bit too long. He'll go down as well. And these are the types of slays that you don't want to see. This is where they start to close the gap if they can't play their lives effectively.
Right, and this is what's going to differentiate these players. They're used to this matchmaking style. Maybe they play twos on the occasion, these money twos, but these are the type of players where you can't afford to stay that half second out in the open. They're going to punish you every time. Pyrettic, Danoxide, Stress, Article, they all have incredible pistol shots. If you give them an inch, they're going to take it a mile and punish you every single time. I like what we see from Pyrettic and Danoxide. They're cutting down this lead. They just tied it up. They're down by 4 kills at one point. They're going to get these next couple kills and then hopefully get the Camo on top of that. We're going to hop on board with Pyrettic, see if he's able to get over to this P side and secure this Camo for his team. I believe. Let's see. What did you happen to that Camo? Dan grabbed it.
Dan actually really good presence of mind. He waited to get his slay onto Stress, took him down, then grabbed the Camo immediately. You can see him bottom mid now. He's got the silence pistol, a great combo right here. Hard to tell exactly where he's coming from. And of course, with the Camo, he can do a great job to bait himself and allow his teammate to work forward. So you can see Pyrettic right now on Pink. Danoxide slowly making his way up through red here. Some shots into Article. Perfect shots to back him down. Article not backing down at all. Stress right now, the last surviving player. He wants to get that challenge, but he knows he can't afford it. He's got to try to stay alive here. An unfortunate situation for Stress. I don't imagine he's going to survive much longer. Perfect play from Dan and Pyrettic. You can see how they're working together so effectively to close that gap, and now they're leading with 4 points.
Right, I absolutely love it. We saw him, he backed down, he let that call out come to his teammate. His teammate eventually opted to go through that top of the base, got behind the player down at the bottom base, and then from there, that perfect pinch, and that's what we're seeing, back-to-back pinches coming out from Danoxide and Pyrettic. They're playing so well together, and we can tell that they're just right on top of these spawns. Danoxide immediately turning away, looking at that top red base, lands some easy shots, telling his teammate, hey, they're in red too. We're gonna set up for this next push. Danoxide doing a wonderful job just maintaining this top control. When he feels it's necessary, he's just gonna fly on through and push these 2 players in the top red base.
Take a look at this pressure. All the important areas of the map here in control of Danoxide and Pyrettic. I'm going to switch over to Pyrettic right now on pink, trying to stay alive. Both Article and Stress trapped in red base, and they're trying to play passively. They can't afford to lose any lives here. Looks like Article wants to make his way out, but Pyrettic coming underneath red base with the sneaky play here. Look at this walk. Stutter step, making his way under without making any noise. Looks like Stress might be aware of it, but too little too late. Pyrettic will take him down as Dan keeps that top mid position. Look at this beautiful teamwork, 21-13. What was once a close game doesn't look like it anymore.
Right, and Pyrettic in position to grab this camouflage. And while that's happening, Shyway, why don't you tell everyone at home what the nerd walking is? We saw that as he was pushing under the base. He was doing a nerd walk so no one could hear him. How mechanically do you do that in Halo 5?
Right, so the stutter step is actually not too hard to do. It's just the timing when you do it. All you're doing is you're tapping on the left stick very quickly, one direction. Whatever direction you want to go, just tap it over and over and over again. Let that stick reset to neutral. And by doing so, you don't take a true step. And if you don't take a true step, you don't make any noise. So it's a great way to keep off of, without making, it's just we don't have a radar, right? It's an alternative to radar is keeping yourself quiet, tapping that left stick when you're near an opponent, and don't take a true step. Right now, Pyrettic with the camo here, on top of being quiet, he's also invisible, which is perfect as he makes his way up pink. You can see Danoxide in blue as well. And look at Lay in that sneaky spot. He actually might be able to get a back smack. There he is. And these are the types of kills that they need, but it might be too little too late. 24-14, they can fly out against the opposition to land this final kill.
I like that from Danoxide. He got a little bit lit up at the end, but he had all the confidence in the world, just going to challenge these players over at Car. He knows they have this 10-kill lead, only 1 kill to get for them, and I don't want to say it's impossible. It's going to be impossible for this red team to come back. Absolutely beautiful job on these collapses by Danoxide and Pyrettic. Article just trying to stave off the loss as long as he can, but eventually Pyrettic going to find the 5 shots necessary to take Stress down. Absolutely textbook two's gameplay from Danoxide and Pyrettic right there. We saw them waiting for each other's help. They figured out where the spawns were. They made sure that they had all the pressure off the spawn, finish out their collapses, opting to take different angles at points, and obviously the most important part, they just have absolutely nasty pistol shots hitting off their 5s as necessary. They won their individual fights. It was really hard for Stress and Article to find their footing as soon as they got put on that spawn cycle.
Yeah, as soon as they started to pick up momentum, it's that incredible map presence that they had, top mid, top pink, top car, controlling those crucial areas of the map, so that the moment that power-ups like the camo pops, you're in the perfect position to grab it. And that's exactly how they kind of ran away with it. You'll notice they grabbed all the camos towards the later half of the game. Article and Stress have done a very good job of, kind of pushing them back at the start and keeping with them. But the moment that they started running away and picking up momentum, Dan and Pyrettic just showcased some dominance. You could see Stress and Article trapped in the bases most of the game and couldn't really find an opportunity to push out and recontrol something like pink or top mid, which would have been very helpful for them. So hopefully they can regain some composure here. Of course, we can see the scoreboard as well. I see it. You guys see the match layout. You've got Truth, and we've got Plaza coming up next. And as we said previously, Plaza is a really great map to mix things up. It completely changes in flow in comparison to Truth. You've got way more different sight lines to work with, a lot more cover to work with. You've got an OS in the center of the map, and obviously the big game changer would be the sniper rifle. And whoever grabs that and controls that could really be, could really spell victory for one team. So we'll see how that plays.
Absolutely, yeah. So Super Saiyan 3, I'm sorry, I keep saying that, it's habit. SSX3 able to take game 1. Game 2 is loading up right now on Plaza. Fellas, who do you want to start with?
I think we have to...
Go for it.
I was going to say Pyrettic. Pyrettic did an absolutely wonderful job previously. I want to see if he's able to secure this overshield off the start. I believe he's going to be the player that's probably going to opt to make his way right over to that overshield.
Yep.
See him, he's landing down some shots across the map. Unfortunately for him, Danoxide knew that player was coming top yellow, got right on him, and he has the potential to burn off this overshield with the new combo he does have, but Stress was able to dodge just out of it, and that's going to be really unfortunate for Danoxide. He had that one true opportunity to get the fast burn off that overshield. Now it's going to be up to him to find a position to get Stress burned off, and he does just that. Wonderful positioning from Danoxide, staying in this top mid part of the map, and this is just the teamwork that we're seeing from Pyrettic. They always have each other's angles. We saw the Pyrettic was doing a great job of distracting that overshield player. Danoxide just gets behind him, lands down that shot with the plasma pistol to burn off those shields. Now it's going to be up to Article to stay alive with this sniper rifle to get stressing him back into this game. Great start, but not by Danoxide and Pyrettic.
Yeah, take a look at Article right now. What was that play? He was weaving his way through bottom mid, trying to stay alive with the sniper. Finally, he makes it out into a position where he can get some good angles here. You can see him on glass now with the snipe, looking for Dan, and Dan will back off. He's looking for angles with Article right now, communicating with Stress. Anything that he can do to put himself in the best possible position. That's not where you want to miss your jump. You got to be in the fight here. We'll see if he can find an opportunity. And Stress, in the meantime, gets pinched. And this is, like you said, Dan and Pyrettic, they're so good at isolating the players that they need to. Keeping Article out of the field to play, taking out Stress. And now Article, once again, in a 2v1. Can he make his way out of this situation? He's going to need some sort of a no-scope. He's going to back off of Dan here. An opportunity on Pyrettic. Some nice shots with the Magnum. Pyrettic backs down in a pinch once again. So the momentum continues to be in the favor of Dan and Pyrettic. Stress and Article need to pull something together.
Yeah, Danoxide immediately knows where these players are going to spawn. We see him finding the angle, gets the perfect headshot on that player, moving into the blue yard. And now, what I expect to see right now, Danoxide just going to hold down this angle. He's eventually going to let Pyrettic get into a position where these two players from blue team are going to have to decide which side they're going to push. And then when that decision's made, we're going to see one of these two players immediately push to finish out their collapse. Danoxide, I think he just missed that player rotate out. So unfortunately, those players got out of blue, and I don't think Danoxide knows.
Right, well, he's going to get the information from Pyrettic now. You can see Stress and Danoxide in a huge fight in yard. Stress will get the best of him, and now I'm looking at Stress here making his way back into yard. We'll see if he can pick up this snipe and the light rifle. A great, deadly combo. Actually, no, he dropped it. He picked up the Magnum and the sniper. He'll go for that instead. Looks like he might have one bullet left in the chamber as well. We'll see if he can put it to good use. The player in Cafe, he's going to let Article take care of it. No. Tries to go for the no-scope, can't land it. 2 beatdowns, he'll get the kill in a trade, which is an okay situation, but we'll see what his teammate can do to pick up the pieces. Article, in the meantime, has picked up the OS, trying to be silent in his approach. Pyrettic smartly will back down from that, and we'll see if they can regroup and find an opportunity here.
Right, one thing I do want to see come out from Stress and Article is them take a little bit more of an unorthodox approach. It seems as if the angles that they've been taking, Danoxide and Pyrettic have really been on top of it. They predicted where they've been going, and for that, it's allowed Pyrettic and Danoxide just to get these kills and extend out this lead. Article and Stress been doing a great job getting that sniper rifle, getting the overshield, but it hasn't really translated into much because they haven't been able to capitalize what those provide. But Pyrettic capitalizing on his sniper rifle, finding that headshot on Stress. He's going to eventually just sit back. He has confidence that his teammate Danoxide is going to get that kill, and now he can just trap these players in blue, and they have that same trap we saw earlier. They're going to opt for this all game. They're going to have a guy at nest and a guy in yard. They're just going to pick these players off as they come up. Danoxide is eventually going to follow the Stress, but I think they're going to be really confident in that setup. They have the individual talent, and then when they feel it is necessary for them to push out and that they can finish their collapses, they'll do just that. But Pyrettic still has essentially a full sniper rifle to work with.
Exactly. I got my eye on Pyrettic right now as he looks to work with Dan here. Dan will get the trade. Pyrettic staying alive. Some nice shots into Stress to keep him back, and we'll see if he can land something nice with the sniper here, maybe predicting Cafe or Yard at this point as he looks to hold this reticle here. Dan spawning up behind him, taking the aggro, the body shot onto Stress, and the finishing shot from Dan, and the OS in their hands. This is huge. Look at the momentum they can get off of this. 14-6 right now. The lead completely slipping away. A body onto Article. Pyrettic looking lasered at this point on the killing spree. And everything that they do is just solidifying this victory. 16-6. How, at this point, do you make any sort of a comeback? Dan and Pyrettic just looking too strong.
I feel like Stress and Article really need to get in the position where they can isolate one of these players and finish out their collapse together, get control of these power weapons, and then start putting these players on spawn. The problem is every time they die, it's not a 1-for-1 trade. It's always been Pyrettic and Danoxide finishing out both players, getting in their spots, allowing them to spawn, knowing exactly where they're going to spawn, and from there, these players can just keep them isolated on that side of the map. Stress and Article need to figure out what side they want to push out, figure out one player that's by themselves and finish out that trade. But Danoxide showing his absolute pistol talent right there, taking down the one-on-one. And now we see Pyrettic, he's just going to go in. He doesn't care about the trade because he knew that player was isolated. He knew that he could just push in, get the trade out, and that's all they have to do thus far. They're up by over 10 kills. All they have to do is play for trades at this point.
Yeah. Dan moving like he's playing a matchmaking game or something. He is flying up on everyone right now in Stress, narrowly escaping. Dan intelligently will jump back up to top gold here, look for a kill onto Article, and they're just back-to-back slaying these guys off their spawns. Look at him turn around and pay attention to Stress as well. Hearing the call out from Pyrettic, he can't get either of them, and Pyrettic will have to stay alive here. I'm going to hop on board with Stress and see if they can do anything to kind of come back at this pressure here. Of course, he's got the light rifle. So important to have. You get that 2-shot beatdown. He's in range, but he'll get the kill right there. Back off. This is the type of slay that he needs to pick up some sort of momentum. They can't afford to let these guys get past that 20-kill threshold. It's going to be so hard to make a comeback. Of course, OS coming up very soon as well. This is a perfect moment to control the inside of the map. You can see how they're split. Stress in a very vulnerable position. He'll get taken down. I don't know how I feel about the split there. Like, Article being so far from him, he was isolated. I'm not sure if they could, work together effectively like that.
See, this is one thing I've noticed from Stress and Article thus far. Every time they have this sniper rifle, a sniper rifle player has felt very isolated, and he doesn't have quite the angles to help the teammate that you would like to see. Danoxide eventually going to take out Article with that grenade shot, and there we go. Overshield in the hands of Pyrettic, sniper rifle in the hands of Danoxide. Only 3 kills left to go. I don't think the comeback is really possible at the moment with this kind of control and the kind of pressure they've been applying so far in these first 2 games.
Absolutely. Here we have Pyrettic making his way through the hallway. Almost getting Article, but Stress will get in his face and deny him. Now we have Dan underneath. That's that sneaky walk that we talked about, the stutter step. Just hiding, taking his time, being patient. Surprising from Dan, considering the lead that they have right now. He's got the sniper rifle as well. We'll see if he can land a nice shot here onto Stress. He catches him. 2 more kills remaining, and they can win this series. Lay trapped in a really tough spot. He'll go down as well. The final kill. Dan, 360 no-scope? Nope. Okay, hits the barrel. All right.
The barrel. I mean, it's just as flashy, right?
Yeah.
I really...
barrel shot, imagine.
360 barrel shot, man. We should have seen that.
Yeah.
Danoxide missed opportunities, man. But I really liked what we're seeing from Danoxide and Pyrettic through that first 2 games. They really opted to play with each other a lot, and when we say play with each other, they're not right up on top of each other shooting the same thing right away, just getting that team shot right in. What they're doing is they're playing together through positional Halo. They're sitting in different spots on the map so they can watch as much of the map as possible, and just using each other's callouts, they can just collapse on these individual players. They can isolate Stress or Article, find those kills. And one thing I want to point out, only 3 assists coming out through Article and Stress. We could see that isolation tactic working so well just because they didn't have the opportunity to help each other because of the positional Halo that Danoxide and Pyrettic were playing.
Yeah, like I feel like splitting off and taking expanded routes at certain times can be very helpful for creating those pinches. But when I saw Stress and Article do it, I felt like, for example, at the very end there, we had Article with a sniper on Nest, and then we had Stress go up to top gold. A split like that, Stress being in such a vulnerable position, I feel like he needs to be in somewhat of a baitable location, like kind of low presence where he can escape easily if he needs to survive. He's in a very rough spot on gold. And Article at the same time, should he be committed all the way to Nest? Should he maybe be over on posters in a position where he can at least see Stress and help Stress immediately if he needs to? And they're still split. They can still, form that pinch type scenario. So they're working together in certain circumstances, but ultimately it feels like they're splitting off too far. They're not coming together when they need to in these crucial moments.